Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
A plea to the president from the local man jailed in Russia for spying. Paul Whelan's recording from behind bars and why it's coming out now.
And back to work, how Michigan is trying to make it easier for people with children to re-enter the workforce after time away during the pandemic.
Macomb County's biggest and most critical construction project is happening underground, and it's entered a key phase. Road closures get most of the attention during construction season, but the top priority for fixing Macomb County's infrastructure is happening below the surface.
It's the Macomb Interceptor project. Simply put, the county's installing a giant pipe along 15 Mile to prevent another disaster like the Fraser sinkhole that opened up in late 2016. Sean Lay live with a look at how deep this project goes. And Sean, it's absolutely massive.
It's a big dig. It's a big deal. If you own a home, you want to get into what we're talking about here because we're right across the street from Sterling Heights High School, 15 Mile Road. I'm going to show you what's behind that fence. Again, a huge deal here that the county says will help prevent sinkholes for the next generation.
We don't want that to happen again, ever.
Macomb Public Works Director Candace Miller says the sinkhole of Christmas Eve 2016 simply cannot happen again, but almost did when she got cameras into miles of old sewer lines.
It's sort of horrifying, the condition of our underground infrastructure.
Old lines had been eaten away over time. What many did not realize, more sinkholes could have followed in critical areas of the county.
We found some under the Clinton River. Can you even imagine having an interceptor collapse under the Clinton River? What kind of environmental catastrophe that would be. We found some under the transmission grid.
But today, major progress on a really big dig that is a really big deal. First for crews to dig down 60 feet, then reach and cut into a massive 11-foot pipe called the Interceptor to first clear it out. That's where everything goes when 600,000 people in 11 communities here flush. This thing cannot fail. After the clean out, it will be lined with a polymer that can't be eaten away.
Just because underground infrastructure is out of sight, it can never be out of mind.
That's a pretty good point. The other thing here, this is a $30 million project you see behind me. Sewer rates were not raised to pay for it. A lot of the money actually coming from when Macomb County sued contractors over the Fraser sinkhole. We're live tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4, back to you.
Yeah, what a big dig that really is. All right, Sean, thanks.
Turning to the latest on the coronavirus, Michigan sees a steady positive rate below 2%. The state reports 338 new cases with 8 more deaths. That's a 2-day total from yesterday and today. On the vaccine front, more than 308 million doses have been administered in the U.S., with 60.5% of Michiganders 16 and older having received at least 1 dose of the vaccine. All this after Novavax announces their vaccine has shown 90% efficacy in trials, including against variants. The company is planning to ask the FDA for emergency use authorization.
Governor Whitmer announcing an historic initiative to invest in child care and early education in Michigan. It's part of her plan to help get parents who had to leave jobs or who haven't been able to find jobs get back into the workforce. Our Grant Herms fills us in on a key part of this plan to reopen Michigan. Grant.
Every parent over the course of the pandemic knows finding a place to take care of your kids is no easy job. The governor's initiative today making a big step towards getting parents back to work. And it definitely isn't child's play. Surrounded by play sets and playgrounds, Governor Whitmer outlining a sweeping $1.4 billion investment in childcare across the state of Michigan.
Every family in Michigan deserves to have access to safe, affordable, quality childcare that meets their needs, regardless of how old their children are, regardless of what part of Michigan they live in, how much money they make, their race, their ethnicity, or their immigration status.
The plan would expand access to daycare to families by giving new subsidies to current and new child care centers, making child care more affordable by expanding low-cost or no-cost child care to families making up to $53,000 a year, and spending money to help pay daycare workers more. According to the Detroit Regional Chamber, nearly 1 in 10 workers say they can't come back to work because childcare costs are too expensive or inaccessible. Numbers from March show the cost of daycare for just one child can cost roughly 20% of the median family's salary and more than half of a family making minimum wage. Childcare costs have also hit working moms the most. The governor saying today more than 136,000 women have left the workforce statewide, and a major factor for their return is finding a place for their kids. Danielle Atkinson is the head of the group Mothering Justice and a mother to 6 kids herself.
We understand what it's like to not be able to make ends meet. We know that an investment in childcare is an investment in a family, in a community, and as our state as a whole.
Now, this money would have to go through lawmakers in Lansing, and negotiations over what to do with billions of federal dollars have been fraught, to say the least. But today, the House Appropriations Committee chair saying that he saw a lot of common ground in what the governor was saying today in her announcement, and he struck a rare optimistic tone that there may be some compromise. Back to you.
All right, Grant Herbst reporting live for us tonight. Grant, thanks.
Well, we need every drop of rain, and there's a chance we see a little bit tonight, but after that, I don't know.
Yeah, Ben's back with a check of the forecast. It doesn't look like it's widespread behind you there.
No, not everybody's getting this, guys, and you're right. This is the last call until we get closer to the weekend, and then we'll see those chances pick back up. But a lot of the stuff that we've had out there so far is fading, with the exception of what's coming out of Saginaw Bay. That's still holding together pretty robust. In fact, you can see a few lightning strikes up there with those downpours. There's a small chance there could be some pea-size hail as this works its way further south. But the trend is everything that comes south has been weakening. We're also watching that little downpour, which is just north of 75 there in the northern section of Oakland County, headed towards 75 and going south. Again, not long for the world. These aren't hanging around all that long, but we are anticipating that they'll be with us at least scattered around and through about sunset tonight. Models are trying to hold on to this until about 10, 11 o'clock, but at least I think once that sun goes down, it's going to lose a lot of the fuel that's been fueling these storms. So coming up, the temperatures are the other big story. We'll take a look at that and find out just how long we're going to have to wait if you don't get wet tonight. Local Forecasters app, of course, is where you get your entire 10-day forecast. Search for it for free in your app store by typing in WDIV. Guys?
Hey, Ben, thank you. Ahead of a high-stakes face-to-face meeting between President Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin, Paul Whelan is pushing for his release. The Novi man has been in a Russian prison since December of 2018, accused of being a spy. Well, today's family shared a recording Paul made behind bars directed at President Biden.
I remain innocent. No crime of espionage occurred. The secret trial without evidence proves those facts. The abduction of an American tourist cannot stand. Congress, American citizens, and supporters throughout the world echo my call for immediate, decisive action. Please bring me home to my family and my dog Flora, where I belong.
Putin says he's open to discussing the possibility of a prisoner swap. However, the U.S. has said that since Whelan is innocent, a swap makes less sense than simply demanding his release. Whelan's brother spoke with NBC News about the summit.
Paul's 900th day in Russian detention as a Russian hostage is Tuesday, just before the beginning of this summit. And we are hopeful that we don't get to 1,000. It would be a wonderful thing if this summit could lay the foundation for Paul's release.
And that highly anticipated summit takes place Wednesday. We'll stay on top of any new developments.
A competitor in the electric pickup business tonight is teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. Lordstown Motors today announced its CEO and chief financial officer have left the company. Local 4 business editor Rod Maloney is live tonight. Rod, you have to wonder about the company's prospects at this key moment for electric vehicles.
Well, here's the thing, Jason. The F-150 Lightning, a couple of weeks ago, you were there for that. GM's got the Silverado coming, and it looks like they're going to have a Ram electric coming out of Stellantis. So that's putting enormous pressure on these young startups in the electric space, and Lordstown will be first among them. Lordstown Motors started a few years ago with the promise of building the commercial endurance pickup truck. Optimism so high in the era of Tesla's Cybertruck, it attracted some $600 million in investment that allowed it to go public last fall. But today, CEO Steve Burns and Chief Financial Officer Julio Rodriguez stepped down after admitting one of the companies committed to buy a sizable number of the first trucks doesn't have the cash to do so. So Lordstown Motors is likely headed to court amid allegations of fraud. Now, Guidehouse Insights energy auto analyst Sam Abel-Samid says it's no surprise, saying of the company,
I've been skeptical of Lordstown Motors prospects from the beginning.
First and foremost, because of the way the company landed its sprawling former General Motors car plant in Lordstown, Ohio.
I think that when GM got involved with Lordstown, it was probably more for political reasons, essentially to get Donald Trump off their back for closing the Lordstown assembly plant. They basically essentially gave the factory to Steve Burns for this new venture.
But also the product. Lordstown Motors' unique design puts electric motors on each wheel, but it puts considerable stress on the electric wiring, unlike most of its competition.
Chances are that they are probably going to end up winding down.
Now, Abel-Samid says the only real asset they have that's going to be worth much is that plant in Lordstown, Ohio, and maybe some of the tooling they have inside it, because essentially this company hasn't started building yet. They've got 50 prototypes that they've built, but they haven't done any commercial production, and so therefore there probably isn't going to be that much to get if, in fact, the company goes into bankruptcy. Back to you.
Hey, Rod, does this have any impact on GM at this point?
Well, I mean, General Motors has about a 5% stake in the company, and that's basically because they gave them the plan, and so they ended up converting that into equity from the debt that was owed to the company. And GM's not saying much about what they're doing, but they say they'll probably hold on to what it is that they have, and so we'll have to see what becomes of their stake and also the plant itself.
All right. Rod, thanks.
Governor Whitmer signed an executive directive today to help stop the practice of conversion therapy on minors. Conversion therapy refers to any intervention that attempts to change an individual's sexual orientation or gender identity. Today's directive prohibits the use of state and federal dollars for use of that practice on children.
We're taking action because we have a duty to protect the health, safety, and well-being of Michigan's people, all people, Michigan's LGBTQ+ youth included.
According to a survey by the Trevor Project, 13% of LGBTQ youth reported being subjected to conversion therapy, with 83% reporting they underwent the therapy as minors. Those subjected to the therapy reported more than twice the rate of suicide attempts compared to those who did not undergo it.
A drug raid in Port Huron leads to two men being arrested. 31-year-old Chad Hamilton and 26-year-old Jesse Sawden face several charges, including delivery and manufacturing of methamphetamine, heroin, and fentanyl. Police raided a home on St. Clair Street and found what they're calling dealers' quantities of the drugs. Both men will be back in court next week.
All right, ahead here at 6, the shocking amount of Girl Scout cookies that have gone unsold because of the pandemic. How you can fix that.
Oh, I know how I can fix that. Plus, as COVID restrictions ease, there's a new normal developing and children are once again having to adjust. Some expert advice on helping them through this next.